So I actually started. I'll bring you in just a second. What the intro animation's playing now. Hey, what's up? So we can't see Matt yet, but we'll bring him in just a second. Call the spaceships to Davenport. Welcome to Space Couch. My name is Brian. I had uh, my lovely fiance help me test out audio issues with the at the coffee shop across the street in space. Yes, we have a coffee shop across the street in space. Let me just do a little bit of housekeeping. How you been? How you been? Uh, Glad to have you back here on, a couch in space. We've been talking, like Elon Musk has been trying to get, SpaceX on the moon and fix traffic in LA. And we've been just talking to industrial stars on a couch in space for like 2, 3 months now. So, I feel that's one for the industrial community. And all of you wonderful people, big ups to Angel Metro and Christopher Carson. Okay, to the point at hand. Uh, we all knew this day would come, and I think I'm in a place where I'm ready, both physically and emotionally. Our guest today has been a giant part of my life, if I'm being perfectly honest, for a long time, and loved universally. And I can say universally, unironically, and literally, because we're in space. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Matt Finale, what is up, buddy? Welcome to Space Couch.
Thank you for having me in space. I have not been in space recently, so I'm also in my version of space. It's a very small space called my studio.
Okay, well, oh wow, Michael Martin of Displacer is in the
Hey,
room.
Mike.
Superstar Ray Calderon, Dan of erstwhile Blind Faith and Envy and Vein Collectors in the place. Dude, I sometimes for Space Couch you got to do a little bit of research and figure out what to ask a band. My only issue here was how do I possibly encapsulate our relationship into just kind of us yakking. Oh, Seth Riley in the place. What is going on, man?
Long time Caustic helper.
No, yes. Oh, Adam Schneider of Big Time Kill in the place. Oh, it's already a star-studded episode. Actually, I'm going to go off script a little bit there because Seth being in the place makes me so happy. Part of this is going to be what a goddamn pioneer you've been for industrial music. That first Caustic album came with a comic book drawn by Seth. Like,
yeah,
that I don't think I've ever seen it done. It was like it reminded me of getting a He-Man action figure, and they came with those little.
Yeah, I think that was the actual thought behind it, because I used to get those little He-Man books with the action figures.
Yeah, dude. Oh,
I
God.
still have a couple of my old ones. I think I still have a couple of my old ones somewhere, but they were like awesome. They were like 8 to 10 pages. Seth graced many covers. He did the high High Art for Low Expectations.
Yes, yeah.
One that I had to pull because nowadays it's a lot more offensive than it was. Well, it was offensive then too. It was great, but yeah, and Seth did the demo. I mean, okay, so Seth did the cover. One of the 2 demo cover arts for when I first started sending out demos. I did one was another person that we knew, and then Seth did the other one. And depending on where I was sending it, I would pick which art I thought was more appropriate. And I think he did my greatest hits collection. That was like a little burn CD I did called Good Bad Ideas Volume 8 or something like that. So yes, that's a long time. And he actually works in the same building I do now, like 6 floors below me.
That's
Or 5 floors.
awesome.
So,
Shout out to Sherry Pencil. Says she'll see you at Mechanismus, and Nevada Hardware in the house. All right.
hey, Doug.
Um, well, uh, I'm glad you're even uh, trying. Like, it takes a second to you to recall your own albums, because another theme of this is going to be your insane output. You have been
Okay.
such an inspiration, not only to me personally, but I think for the industrial scene. Like, you have
Okay.
such a motor.
You're giving me a lot more credit than I think I deserve, but I
But see,
appreciate
I'm not though, because it's like if I was just making shit up, then I would be making shit up. But like I have a body of evidence. Let's start at the top, where I'm just gonna get lost in my own sea of adulation. Uh,
it.
Caustic's most recent release is Hustle and Mate,
Yeah.
and so. While we could do 8 episodes just on side projects, let's at least touch on Caustic.
Okay.
Hustle and I have been. I mean, I've got demos that I don't think have seen the light of day, and just the
Possibly. I've got a couple of yours too. So yeah.
yeah. Quick aside, we did Providence recently. You know who showed up was Luco, and he's like,
Oh, really?
yeah, he's like, yeah, I have demos that say like 0.5 on them. So like,
Yeah.
wow.
I've got a little, like 3-inch disc that has the
Yeah.
duck hunt on it. That has maybe sleep disorder on it.
Yeah, sleeping
Like a
disorder.
couple tracks that I don't think you've ever. They definitely didn't get released on a main album.
Definitely didn't get released.
I found that I'm like, I could sell this on eBay for like $7.
Seven. Well, yeah. If you ever
I'd
need
say
to.
I'd share it with you. I'd share it with you.
Oh well, thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Well, we are label mates after a fashion, and we will
True.
get into that. So I bring up that old stuff because Smash Cut to. Oh, I effed up. It's Acid Casualty and not Displacer. Anyway, sorry.
Give me
So
one quick second. One
yeah.
second. Stop throwing everything right
we're juggling a couple elements here today.
Sorry, my
and
kid's in the other room. And my
No,
son
it's okay. And I got to apologize to the audience. I'm always in a somewhat of a sheen of sweat because things break 30 seconds before we're supposed to go into space, and we managed to pull it off. The punch and just the range of Hustle and Mate is so vast for like just an EP. I couldn't love it more.
Thanks.
Like
It's
I
kind of an odds and ends album. It's some tracks that I released on Patreon, a couple new ones, and then a couple covers that I put together, like a Nail Bomb cover and another cover. I can't even remember what's on it right now. And yeah, it turned out pretty great. I mean, it was not it was like an official release because I put it out, but it wasn't like a label release. It's not as, I mean, it's like American Carrion's my last like real release.
Yeah.
This was kind of like I had a bunch of fun stuff. I wanted to put something out on my birthday. I am not so beholden to making sure everything is exactly the same quality. It's a cool album. I mean, I think it stands on its own. But by the same token, there's like the punkiness of what I do, and there's like, okay, there's a NoFX album called 46 or 47 songs that weren't good enough for other albums, and literally like 46 or 47 songs that are great, and there's like a cover of like OMD on there that they had on some. It's a lot of just stuff from like various compilations and things like that, plus a couple of EPs that had like just 7-inch releases or whatever. But it's kind of in that same vein where it's just like, it's fun stuff. I mean, it was a free release. If you don't like it, whatever. I enjoyed it. I think that had some cool stuff on it. I like the Nail Bomb cover. I did a lot. But yeah, so I mean, it was just kind of some odds and ends. I put together the Stimulation EP the year before. That was just like 4 tracks, and those were pretty much all, I think, except for one song, were all just Patreon songs that I liked a lot, and just kind of fit thematically with what we were working on. So. But I think it shows a nice breadth. It's definitely on the punkier, more DIY, aggressive, lo-fi range of what I do. And so I thought that was pretty darn cool. So I'm glad you liked it too.
I really love it. Big shout out to Ashes Elaney, and we got a Vardensphere. Always a.
Hey everybody!
You have brought the stars out, sir. Talk to me a little bit about the evolution, if I can use that word, from let's just say that the recent big ones like industrial music, the album, to American Carry On, to what might be coming.
Okay, well, industrial music to American Carrion honestly is a very much a linked kind of progress. I mean, literally, even so much so that the albums link together. The end of American Carrion is me kind of just screaming and then breathing like really heavily, out of
Okay.
I mean out of breath.
Yeah.
And then the opening of American Carrion is literally me doing that going into the new song. So I mean,
Wow.
those albums can just link right over each other, and then keep going. I mean, industrial music was me loosening up a little bit. The album before that was The Man Who Couldn't Stop, which was like 18 tracks, this giant thematic, weird interwoven James Joyce Ulysses kind of thing that was just a lot. And so I wanted to step back and just kind of get back to, I don't say my roots because that's stupid, but get back to just some songs, not trying to do such of an overarching theme, and just really work on grooves and really work on
Hmm.
the things that I think the direction I wanted to explore. And then American Carrion, I mean, with our current political climate, I really wrote a political album for the most
Mm.
part, very social and political album. And but I tried to make it fun and not like, I don't know, overwhelmingly whatever,
Hmm.
not I tried not to be preachy.
Right.
I was angry, but not preachy, but just have some fun, big jump around songs, and
Well, I
you
mean,
know,
yeah, I
it
thought,
turned out well, and I think I achieved what I needed to with it. It's a punk album, pretty much. I mean, it's just me doing it my way and harder than normal, and I thought it turned out really great. So
I love
I,
it.
people seem to really respond, and I still see it pop up on playlists, so that's super nice.
Yeah.
That's a sign that things aren't terrible when you're still showing up on DJ playlists, and it was out a year and a half ago. So yeah, so it's been good.
It's great. Like, I mean, I would listen to it in the gym, and Henry Rollins has this bit about how he thinks he's silently mouthing the words to Slayer, but actually screaming "God hates us all." Like, I think I did that, but like in a weird way, I went like "because we love," and I'm like bench pressing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I listen to it. I listen to it now and again. Just I'm sure
Hmm.
you're the same way. It's like you don't want to listen to your music because it's weird.
Right.
You also pick it apart like intensely. But I listen to that now. Honestly, there's very few things I would change on it. So I think it turned out great. I'm very happy with that album so far. So
No.
it's
Uh,
and
s-
I'm honestly not that critical of most of my albums
mm.
because I could be, but what does that help? You know, I listen to it and I go, I need to work on that. There's a couple there's cringeworthy moments on everything, but I think I was able to get through the album and even the track. There's always like for me one track that's super difficult to get right. Like it
Oh
just
yeah.
vocals, like "Scream Your Name" on industrial music. I just couldn't get the vocals right. I think it ended up being okay after the fact. Joseph mixed that for me and was able just to suss out and get
Shout
everything
out
where
to
it
Control
needed to be.
Shift.
And American Carrion, the title track was all messed up, and I couldn't get the lyrics to the vocals to right work. And then I realized when I looked at I zoomed in as super close to everything, and I realized all the quantization was off by just like
Oh no.
just enough to ruin it. And I'm
Wait,
going,
it's
I'm
keeping you
singing
up at night?
on beat. I am
Oh God.
everything. And it was driving me nuts when I realized that I was like, everything clicks. And I'm like, oh my God, I just felt like a weight was off my
Yeah.
shoulders.
Yeah.
But that turned out well. And then I did, I mean, you've heard both versions of it. The American Carry and I had a different alternate vocal version that I think
Hmm.
went out to Kickstarter backers. And then I sent that out to like my normal crew of you and a couple other people that I trust and
Hmm.
who've just been with me forever. And I remember I had, like, I think I sent to 6 people, and 3 people voted for the version that went on the album. 3 people voted for the other one. I can't remember which one you voted for, but I think you voted for the one that was on the album, if I remember correctly. But
I think so.
so I had to decide. So they were both good. And then yeah, if you were my Kickstarter backer, you heard the
Yeah.
alternate vocal version, which is a totally different delivery, totally different lyrics, same chorus. But that was fun to do too, just to do like a totally different version vocally of it
Hmm.
that I wrote in probably like a day. But
Yeah.
I like listening to both. So
I
anyway.
would not be surprised if you were able to kick that out in a day. It's great. I love your alternate albums, and man, I so industrial music. Excuse me, I keep on bashing. I This is the first show I've successfully done with the headset mic. I know you can't see me, but I'm not used to having like an inch off my face.
Side and seeing you on the YouTubes.
Okay, cool. The oh, what's up to Arietta? Big ups to England. The last track of industrial music goes right into Carry On. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
You've done. You heard it here on Space Couch if you didn't already know it. But the Patreon has been amazing.
It's a lot of work, but yeah.
It's a lot. I can.
Cool.
I look at my inbox and going, how is he doing this? To say nothing of your amazing show schedule, we'll get into, and being a father.
Yeah.
So, which giant ups on both, man.
Thanks.
Like,
The father's thing's the best thing, to be honest. It's nothing better. But
I mean,
it's been going well.
From that 2000 whatever photo of us where we're both sort of passed out as a mirror image on that couch in the back.
Oh, that's a reverence. That
yeah.
Was
to now,
yeah.
The what a journey, and I could not be happier. I brought up a lot there. I don't know where to start. Sorry. Scott Fox says our causticals are showing.
They are.
They are. Absinthe of Faith in the house, and Science Fiction's here says he's a big fan of Drug Skill.
Well, thank you. That song, actually, I pumped that song out in like a day, and it didn't change that much. That was like, sometimes, you probably know, Brian, like you have a song that you'll be tinkering with for like a year.
The worst.
And you finally get it, then you feel like it's in a sense of accomplishment. Drug Skill I put together, and the vocal take that's on that is actually the demo take I did. I think I retried it and it just didn't sound good. And I have like a handful of songs that I have just used the literally the first demo take. I just did it, one shot, boom. Bible Bottle Bomb is like that.
Nice.
Many is like I have like 3 or 4 songs that I just like that. I don't need to redo this. I think that sounds perfect. And Drug Skill or drug. It's either Drugs Kill or Drug Skill.
I know.
Really doesn't matter. I purposely didn't differentiate because the song works on both ways. It's like a choose your own terrible adventure. And but I'm glad you like it.
I love it. Yeah, big ups to Science Fiction.
Ayler liked it right off the bat, which is a rarity for him.
Big ups to Brian Dickey. Shout out to Chicago.
You have something here. I don't have any notes. I was like, oh wow, that's a rarity.
Oh yeah, I got tons of input. I knew this interview was going to go this way because it's just going to go 1,000 different directions.
We can get tangential.
I mean, we always have. Let's do this because I want to highlight what a banner year you're having for live shows, which I know I played in many Caustic live shows, including the very first one. I was just thinking about that UW Platteville set the other day with the metal detectors.
Oh, the Kenosha. No.
Because Kenosha. Okay.
Kenosha, Parkland.
Yes. Sorry, one of them.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
But
Parkside.
Thank you. Parkside. Yeah. Oh gosh, that was a weird show for the audience. It was a very early Caustic show, and not only was there a metal detector, you couldn't leave, and it was in a college cafeteria, and we got like boxed lunches.
Yeah, we all went in like whatever 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock to soundcheck. It was us, Raised in Black headline, Bella Morte, Cruciform. Was Cruciform?
Yeah.
Sensuous Enemy, super early Sensuous Enemy show.
Yeah.
And us, and then maybe somebody else, and they brought us all in. But then they had a hip hop show there like a couple weeks earlier, and somebody brought a knife or a gun in, and then they made us all leave again after we'd already been in there for hours, and they made us leave again and go through the metal detector as if we couldn't have brought in grenade launchers. And then they wouldn't let us go out because they were afraid we were going to go get drunk. And part of our contract was if we got drunk, they wouldn't pay us. But I had like a 32 pack of beer in my car, and I wanted to go out and just get drunk because, and they wouldn't let us. And it was a lock in essentially, which was silly.
It was just a great show, but
real festive, just like totally chill people.
And
right, all the bananas on stage.
That was the Walt Disney show. Where we dressed up as Snow White and Alice in Wonderland.
You had your wig on backwards.
I had my wig on backwards like an idiot.
We realized like 3/4 of the way through the show that your wig was on, so you just had all this hair in your face.
Just
slam in your pretty light blue white dress.
Well, because I had hair down to my butt at that time anyway, so
Yeah,
it didn't
yeah,
really.
got a lot
That was then, and this is now. You have just done the Sanctuary Festival
yeah,
with the wildly popular Clack.
yeah. I don't know wildly, but it's going well.
Dude, it's
So
so good. The and Caustic has the upcoming Mechanismus Festival
yep,
in Seattle.
yes.
Gossicles did the last one. It's awesome.
I
Uh,
I mean I played there 7 years ago. Um, on when we did the Everything Goes Cold Caustic Legends of Eternal Legends of Metropolis Records tour, which we are still Eternal Legends of Metropolis Records. I don't care if I'm not even on it. But, so I haven't been there in a long time, and I love everybody there. So I'm super excited to get back there, see everybody. We're playing with some great bands. Continues is playing the same day as us. Isantilla is playing.
yeah.
Suicide headlining, so it's not a
The,
complaint day. I'll be
the
okay.
dude, the lineup is nutter butters, and big ups to the High Line. Um, and I'm couching this, pardon the pun, by saying it's not a giant venue. So you
No,
get to see like FGFC 820 and Funk
yeah,
Revoked and all those
it's like
guys like right up
400.
in your face.
Yeah, it's a 400 capacity, I think, something like that. I mean, it's bigger than Dickens, where Terminus is,
And you'll be doing that with Clack.
and I'll be doing that with Clack and Caustic.
And Caustic. I'm sorry.
So
I get you're so successful. I have a little bit of difficulty catching up.
I have side projects that I can try and get into all the festivals, doing different stuff. So yeah, Clack and Caustic are playing Terminus. Caustic is playing, I guess, like right before Neurotic Fish on Friday, which
Never
is
heard
insane.
of them.
And then we're playing. No, I'm not familiar either, but they should be pretty.
But they're
good.
amazing.
But they're from Europe, so they must be good.
I'm such a fan.
And then on Sunday, Clack is playing earlier, but that's perfect. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's...
Clack has been fantastic. We just released our first cassette. Just announced it yesterday, and people are getting all excited about it. So
How was well, because you and I are from Wisconsin. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. What were you gonna say?
I have nothing else to say.
I was just gonna ask about because you and I are both from Wisconsin, and I'm such a leather strip fan among many other things. How was Sanctuary Festival?
Oh, it was incredible.
Awesome.
But it was the. I mean, when I heard bits and pieces of the lineup from Chris, that guy organizes it and books it, and he told me, he's like, yeah, Leather Strip's playing. I was like, oh, cool. He's like, you're gonna play the same day as Leather Strip. It's fantastic. Then he said, we got Plaque Blake, who I've known a little bit online, but been very familiar with from hearing about him and seeing show pictures. He dresses in like the leather daddy with the studded, holy cow, he's awesome. and then Sweat Boys got booked. I was just hoping Sweat Boys would get booked the same day, but it was Finite Automata. I have to pronounce stuff and Scott's band's name right. Standalone, so Seaball's new thing. And so we played the second day. Unfortunately, I had to miss Friday, which was like Hate Department, Wolfband, and Voltaire playing, but I had to work. So
Sure.
But no, it was like such a happy, nice crew. Like sometimes there's like that one band that's a little weird. And now we were all just hanging out upstairs.
That's so cool, man.
Partying together, just watching each other, having a great time. Super supportive.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite kind of festival. Is like when everybody's just there to support each other and have a good time. You're like, you're awesome. No, you were awesome. So. And everybody was awesome. It was some really great performances.
Great.
So, Sweat Boys. They're from La Crosse. So
Sweat Boys. I never met them, but I just picked up that EP.
Dude, I sat there, like, they on stage, they do their songs, and there's dudes working out the entire time. And I'm just like, I want to get Sweat Boys and Gothsicles together just to be this giant, sweaty mess of just masculine weirdness up on stage. They're really great. Their new EP is incredible. So, and then, it was a lot of fun though. It was a lot of fun. A lot of nice people, and it's a tiny fest. I mean, I think it holds like 160. So, I mean, bands make up half the crowd. It's a nice, very like intimate, fun festival for everybody. So yeah, we had a great time.
That's awesome. Like, just because. I'm like, my heart is happy that Milwaukee finally got its festival. Yeah. I could not be happier that you're doing Terminus again. Wait, because you've done it.
Forever.
Well,
I'm playing Terminus again. Yeah, I'm excited.
You're playing Terminus again. You did Sanctuary. kind of my go-to gossicle out here in Boston is David Dobson, Deathly
Oh
D,
yeah,
who I met through when Caustic played our first, if I can say our first, the Kinetic festivals.
yeah,
So you're a great connector there, and this is all leading up to holy craps, Reverence is back.
yes,
Not only are you a one-man industrial game changer, you also sort of put Madison on the map for industrial
yeah.
music, and you're doing it again. Please tell me about why now.
Yeah, it's well. I mean, Inferno closed. Inferno nightclub, which for those of you who aren't from here or never played through here, was an industrial club essentially, goth industrial club, and it closed like 3 4 years ago.
It was
They
like a home. Like we like
it was
grew up there.
yeah, it's the Gilman Street of the industrial scene in Wisconsin essentially, and so we had a lot of people play there, and I did a festival there from like 2002 to 2009, amongst other venues in town, because it branched out to be like a 4 day thing, and I'm not doing a 4 day thing. I'm doing a 1 day thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it was more just I have a quarterly event called Body to Body, um, and it just fell on August 10th, I believe it is, Saturday, August 10th, second Saturday in August, and I was like, you know what, let's give it a shot. And so I was able to find. The way Reverence Halls was, we booked a bunch of local bands that are cool. We fortunately have a lot of local and regional artists that are incredible right now.
Mm.
And then I book a couple bands from out of town, and we do it up. And I got Mr. Kitty headlining this year, which will be amazing. He's never played Madison.
That's awesome.
Sensuous Enemy out of here is finally back together because John Burks came back up from Chicago. He was in Isantilla for a while. He's up, so they're back together. They're going to play. Then it's like, who is it? Street Fever. I got Louis coming up because In Your Lungs has just been a club smash up here in a lot of his stuff.
Nice.
And then who else? Feline, who's out of Chicago. She does this kind of super artsy electronic stuff. Really cool. I'm very excited to have her up too. She's getting profiled in like Bandcamp and stuff like that. Sweat Boys.
Woo!
Their thing on a very big stage so they can call more dudes, and Null Device and Daddy Bear. So
nice.
My EBM raw EBM type thing.
Daddy opening. Bear.
So yeah.
Before I go to Daddy Bear, because I'm excited about that. Are tickets for that on sale now?
Yeah.
Okay, where should people go?
It's on Facebook, Reverence Resurrection. I should get it up on the Crucible site soon, because Crucible is the name of the new club that just opened on New Year's Eve. So it's like a big warehouse. It's an amazing club.
Wow.
Great sound system. Oh, dude, when you come back, you got to play.
Okay.
It'll be giant green room. It's incredible. It's it's beautiful. Yeah, tickets are on sale now. If you go to just Reverence Resurrection, look it up on Facebook, but I'll get the information. If anybody has any questions, just find me on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, and I'll get you the information. And it's cheap. I mean, it's like, I think $25.
20.
So it's always just meant as a big party. That's why the original Reverence was created for Ned from Stromkern, because he was going away to school, and we just said, let's just have a big going away party, essentially. Next year he came back up for it, because they headlined, they had more than anybody else did. It was always just a big drunk party, and it's slightly less drunk, at least on my side, but otherwise it's going to be just a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Mine too. We don't have to super touch on this, but thanks again. And
you did the work. It's cool.
That was always a thing that never, like, other festivals would be going on for 5 times the ticket price, and Reverence would have the same caliber lineup for like a tenth of the price.
It was like 20. I don't. This is like the most expensive year, but it's also been a decade. I mean, it was always because I was never about making money for it. I just wanted to break even and have fun and be able to pay everybody what I can pay them. And it's what's weird now is that there's all these other festivals. Like the early 2000s, every festival fell apart. Like Synth Pop Goes the World fell apart. Kinetic was going on towards the end of that, but I was I think Coma was going on maybe midway through that, but that was in Canada, so that's a million miles away comparatively. But in the Midwest, there were no other festivals. I think there was I think they did maybe a Wax Tracks 2 mini fests or something in there too, but it was later. Always kind of just weird. This little weird oasis in Madison, Wisconsin, that did this little drunk thing for 2-3 days, and everybody just came out and partied a lot. I'm cultivating the same vibe. It's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Toss out that date one more time for the people.
I think it's August 10th. Hold on.
Okay.
the second Saturday. It's like 2 months away. August 10th, yeah.
August 10th, Reverence
Madison,
Resurrection, Madison,
full
Wisconsin, at
night
the
club.
Crucible.
Yeah, so it's so look for it. If you have questions, it's gonna be incredible. So it's a great venue. It's a great space.
Oh, Adra's in the
Yeah.
place. What's up to fires? The I'm going way off script because I get excited when I talk to you. Uh, Tell me about the gestalt we have of your side projects. There's of course the flagship, Clack, Causticals, Parasite Twin. What is the gestalt of Daddy Bear? Because I love that project, man.
Daddy Bear. Okay, well, Daddy Bear is very back to basics. I mean, I kind of call it like raw body music because it sounds cool to say that. It makes it sound like I'm doing something totally different than everybody else is doing the exact. But I mean, it's just honestly, it's just bass, drums, some hats, snares, some fun little atmospheric sounds, but mostly just drums and bass line. It's as raw EBM as I can make it. And I just really like, I mean, it's been, the techno industrial thing, the EBM techno EBM thing. It's gotten big, and I just like a lot of that. That's what I listen to mostly now. So I just wanted to start making it. And I started just seeing if I could figure out how it goes. And I mean, Purgative and like that Fascist Beat on the new album are very much the starting point for that. Just like I had a song on the Coprophagia Consumatia EP that ended up turning into the voice for, or the sound for Beauty Queen Autopsy. So yeah, it's been fun. Just an exploring. It's like it's just a new sound for me.
Beauty Queen Autopsy.
It's not that far from what I do, but it's just been fun to explore it in a non-vocal capacity and really just trying to get as production oriented, but keeping it as raw as possible at the same time. So yeah, it's been really cool, and I'm glad people are responding to it. I've got a show next Sunday at Crucible with Plagues and Ayatoya and Gothic Lizard, and I'm just gonna.
Oh, nice.
I'm doing I'm performing it totally differently than I do. I'm using a launch control launch pad. I'm triggering live loops the whole time. So Caustic has a lot of backing tracks, and other people doing the work and me just screaming like a moron. Same with Causticals, pretty much. And Clack, I'm doing a lot of different as well. But this is truly a very improvised performance, but using very set music that I've now. Before I just wrote a lot of loops and just kind of let the world have it with a couple shows I've done prior to this. But now I actually have music out there. Which I wasn't even honestly going to do at first, but I just thought it'd be fun to release some, and that's Daddy Bear at this point. It's a different feel, it's a different vibe, in a sense, but if nothing else, performatively, it's more going back to my improv background, but it's just doing with music. So,
well, I'm glad you brought that up. Do you now? You kind of first came into my orbit through comedy sports, because it took me a second to realize as a young lad having been just enrolled at UW-Madison that Matt Finale is the same DJ I like, Matt Finale, at the Inferno. That's at Comedy Sports, and how much would you say, if anything, your improv background works into your music? Like, I know we've done the bit, the F the Sun bit, or the sun, blah, 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 blah. Like, for the viewing audience or listeners, there's a Gossicles track where we just sort of riff on how much the sun sucks. It's basically a musical comedy sports game that really only works if Matt does it. He's much better at it than I am.
Dude, I've watched you do it so well so many times.
Or credit where credit's due, secretly hilarious Rex Arcana. So there's the very sort of on its face, straight up improv comedy bits, but your approach to music, I've always found to be so yes and. I mean, nothing seems to be off the table for you. Is it like? I mean, you call it fun, but I think it might be fearlessness. Like, does that come from improv comedy, or because
well, yeah, I mean, first off, what do you have to lose? Like, I'm not making millions. I get an idea. I'm not trained that much. I took some stuff when I was like in elementary school with music, but I'm not classically trained. So I get lucky if I find something that sounds cool. If I find something that sounds cool, I pursue that if I like it.
Hmm.
With a lot of the ideas I've had, it's been to get ahead as much as you
Hmm.
can get anything. I have always found it more interesting to find out what people aren't doing and then come up with an idea that I've never heard done before.
Mm.
Not necessarily musically, because musically you can fall back onto, Caustic has a
Yeah.
sound, but it's more the ideas behind it are going to be what pushes people into being interested, or people absolutely hating what I do, which there are plenty of people that don't get what I do at all, and I like to call them Europe. But uh, it's a lot of fun, But at
Mm.
the same time, I come up with a stop sampling Full Metal Jacket shirt. The shirts are a good example. I just think that's really funny, and
Yeah.
fortunately enough other people that find it humorous too. But then it gets like everybody gets like, oh, look at this, you called it out. Like, it was not a big deal. I literally, and I mean, you knew this, that I sent like these shirts to Grendel and Comic Christ and Modulate. I literally sent them a shirt,
Yeah.
and I know like Goddessman wore one during playing with a Grendel show. So it's all good. I mean, the thing is, it's things I come up with. If it's something like that that's critical,
Hmm.
not in a malicious way at all. It's just poking fun. It's just
Sure.
light. But in terms of the music, I just get lucky if I come up with something fun, I just go with it, and that's why.
Hmm.
But I also was really inspired by, like, I was talking about this a couple weeks ago because Moby's Play just celebrated 20 years. But his Animal Rights album, which was panned, and people hated it because it was not his techno, it's not like
Hmm.
his cookie cutter. It jumps around from like these like melodic, beautiful like orchestral things to this like electro punk to a cover of That's When I Reach My Revolver
Hmm.
to electronic stuff, and he jumps around so much. And then if you listen to like The Man Who Couldn't Stop or even Hustle and Mate, I guess to an
Hmm.
extent, I jump styles a lot. I mean, it's very cohesive. It's
Yeah.
still just. I'm not going to pretend like, oh, look, I'm a revolutionary. I mean, it's not like that at all. It's about just going, this can all work together if you are able to organize it well, if you're smart enough about it, or at least I think it works together.
Hmm.
But I get a lot more out of pushing myself in different directions, in directions I'm not familiar with or comfortable with sometimes, than doing the same garbage every time. And there's a lot of bands that do that are very safe, and there's the saying that like repetition is reputation, but it's also incredibly boring. And I would rather be not as popular for various reasons than be, you know, some of these bands that are probably in people's heads right now that I can name.
Well, to that end, I was trying to come up with trying to encapsulates the word I want to say, but it's absolutely the wrong thing because there's no way that I could wrap up in a bow half the things you've done or started. Um, that you know how like a Simpsons line or something like that will work its way into the popular culture. Like a lot of that seems to go back to Caustic. I mean, uh, you did. I was part of it. You did acoustic,
Yeah,
the acoustic Caustic. I think mostly just because it sounds your band name sounds like the word acoustic,
it was just funny to do because we
and
said,
but you did it is the thing.
yeah, and all it was because all the early stuff like all Unicorns, Kittens, and shit, and all those albums,
Yeah.
like so, like I mean, non-structured comparatively. They're not a. I write more pop structure songs now. Like it's
Hmm.
verse, chorus, verse. Blah 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 blah. But then it was just like noise, 8 bars, new noises, 8 bars. So to actually put together a thing, and it was like you and me and Dan and Kat, and like you were playing accordion
Yes.
and Dan guitar and Kat was playing whatever, and it was just it was funny.
It was
It's like
right, and then
I
there's
can't take you seriously, and it's hysterical to do that kind of stuff.
but
It's
like
because I mean, honestly, it comes down to I did it, you didn't, not you, but you know what I'm saying. I had the guts to do that.
yes,
I had the guts to X, Y, or Z.
right,
Nobody else did.
right.
But I mean, is it the bravest thing? No, I'm not like. This is not brave.
But
This
there's
is just
these ideas that you have, like, I mean, not you, but like people have, in the shower just before they go to sleep, and then they go, "Oh, I should do that," and then never do it. Like,
no, exactly. I
y-
do that.
you do
You
that. You started.
you do that too. You make cats, poop
Yes,
stoves.
yes,
Like that's part of the thing is not letting a good idea go just
right.
because it doesn't fit into your little, weird. So I mean, I think both of us have been really good, but this is why we've been such friends for such a long time.
Yeah.
We both have just followed exactly what we want to do
Mm-hmm.
to whatever end that is, even though that means we might alienate some people because they want this box. They're just like,
Yes.
oh, I can't get out of this, and we like to call that Germany. And
Right.
it's like they're so stuck on it, man. And that takes all the fun out of being creative
It's
and,
so good.
and putting in what we do. And you've done so well with it. I mean, I appreciate you giving me all these accolades, but dude, you've blown up in so many ways that I never have, and it's awesome and it's so funny. But it's just like good bad idea, man. Let's see what happens. Who
Well, I
cares?
mean, yeah, maybe that's why we work well, or the Costicles works well, because
We just yes,
we both kind of we are rather simpatico in thought pattern, but the content gets different. Like I would have never thought to do the album commentary track. You came up with that. I've seen it copied by Uberbyte. I've copied it. That was a genius
yeah,
idea. The goddamn industrial music meme. That's like,
yeah.
I mean, I Archer took that and ran with it, but yeah, that
I,
was
I
all.
I thought I couldn't remember if I started it or
You
not
totally
because
did.
I've seen other people do it since then, but it was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was.
But and that was just to promote industrial music.
I know, but like it started this whole other thing, like the and if we get back onto the Patreon, we can. But like the that crazy awesome narrative album you did for Patreon,
Oh, Unchain?
Ultra Sane.
Yeah, that was hard.
That was
That
it
was
was
like,
so hard,
this is me
and
writing a song a month, which I've never done before. Well, I've never done on because I had to. I've got sometimes you're like, hey, I got a song.
come here, Chum.
But yeah, to do that, it was an idea that I had because I'm not a sci-fi guy, but I had the idea for this thing, and then it was like, all right, let's do it this way, and then I came up with as many ideas as I could, and I should tighten it all up because it needs a lot of production on it. Because again, I was writing a song a month, so you're not going to end up with this incredibly polished thing. But I should release that officially. But it's been like, I mean, yeah, I wrote that like 4 years ago at this point.
Yeah, I mean,
Ago.
it's the kind of thing that a band would do and like ride out for 20 years is like a masterpiece, and you just sort of put it up on Patreon because where I'm going with this is your motor or personal momentum or fearlessness or whatever you want to call it, the mental machine, has always just been insane, like the industrial gossips that you've done
Yeah.
from your car. You came up with the idea of calling the Causticles album Eric Gottesman.
Yes.
Just calling it, I'm like, Eric Gottesman, what? You're like, no, just
Still probably the funniest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
we just
When I
call it
thought
Eric Gottesman. I'm like,
I
I
think I
don't.
laughed 15 minutes. Said, okay. I was like,
So
that's the dumbest thing I could ever call an album. Just call it, named after our friend. Because I mean, it's one of those things like everybody's like, man, I think this album's gonna break, man. I bet it's gonna get into. I bet we're gonna get
yes,
some ears. And I was like, we're not.
right.
We're not. We're are the same ears that always are.
Let's go.
And then we're gonna name it after Eric Gottesman, which is gonna be funny, and people are gonna talk about it because what?
They're still talking about it, dude.
And I took a picture of a pineapple at the store. I didn't even buy the pineapple.
Yes,
literally, I
punk
walked
rock.
up to the thing with my iPhone. I went click.
And
So it looks like the cover of 99% from Maybe Manifesto. That's literally what I was doing. And I just, so I'm glad you went along for the ride because I thought it was very funny.
well, part of me thinks you have this future man, Mr. Magoo, like sixth sense on your shoulder that you know is what's going to work. Like, you're like, okay, we're not going to do a photo shoot. We're just going to take selfies of ourselves in our workplace bathrooms.
In the bathrooms.
Huh? No, Matt, we should do like no, that'll be great. And it was great. Like, but it worked is the thing. Or like, yeah, we're just going to, I'm gonna film myself in the car, just sort of comedically roasting my friends.
But the thing is, that's
but
all
it totally works. How do you know?
I
How
would
do
do
you
that on like my 15-minute break at work.
you
So
do that
I
on
don't
the oh my god, that's
I
amazing.
don't have any choice. So I mean, it becomes a thing, but it's only because I have no other choice how to do it. Because I can't be like, kids, be quiet for 15 minutes. I mean, they're doing really great right now. They're in the other
Hmm.
room, so you might be hearing like things whacking around. But
They've been
it's
actually great. Give them a cookie after the show.
they need no more cookies.
Okay.
No, they're being fantastic. But I mean, it's all out of necessity. But ends up being part of your aesthetic, just like like my music. It's the way it sounds because I work on a computer that is a decade old.
Hmm.
I used which I got replaced because I had a computer somebody gave me
Yeah.
because I died. Somebody literally mailed me a computer because there's a friend had one. He's like, oh, he's gonna use it for art here. So they mailed me a computer. I mean, I can afford better gear now because
Right.
Caustic is a little bit better, and Bandcamp has been as beneficial as it could be. But I mean, I'm not like one of those people that's a gear hound, and I
Didn't you
can't
do the
afford
first
that.
Caustic show with like God Module's broken sampler or
Yeah,
something?
with the AI sampler that took Nate Marks
Uh,
Ace, dude,
yeah.
13 hours at Sonic Foundry to help me format that. He had to like upload like Windows 95. It was insane. That and my Discman for the backing
Yeah,
tracks,
dude.
and it's
Nord poverty.
an Oxy 8 MIDI controller that I bought off eBay. I mean,
That's
we've always been so minimal. You and I both have. I mean,
we
you
have.
Nord,
So
I
this is maybe the central dynamic of well, that's too highfalutin. This is one of the questions about caustic I have. You seem to wildly care and not care. Does that make sense? Like
I
you
care about different things.
okay.
Like I don't care about conforming to like I try to make music. Like, I'll go through exercises where I'm like, I want to make a song that sounds like this,
Hmm.
and I have to figure it out because I don't have training, and I also am dumb and I don't even look at a YouTube tutorial half the time. So I'm
Yeah.
I stumbled upon this sound, and I
Yeah.
just made a thing, and I get really excited. But I mean, I care more about the process of
Hmm.
pushing myself, and I care more about making myself happy rather than caring as much what other people think. But I've also been fortunate enough to the point be at this point where I have enough people that support what I do and respect and like that I do that.
Hmm.
So I have to trust that a certain percentage of them are going to always enjoy what I do, or
Hmm.
most people will hopefully enjoy what I do. But I mean, what I do is not rocket science. It's
Hmm.
very I don't say formulaic, but it all works. It's still working within this, but the music can work within this, but the ideas can be outside of it or whatever. I
Hmm.
don't know. I care very much,
Yeah.
but I also care very much about making it something original, about doing something that I can be proud of.
Hmm.
I don't. I mean, I'm at the point like you're this. Hopefully, I think in some ways the same way. We've been established. We've been around. We aren't clawing to get noticed now. And maybe I'm on a
Right.
planet. I don't know. I mean, the fact that I get to play all these festivals is fantastic, and I know so many people that would die to do this. I take it. I don't take that for granted.
Hmm.
But at the same time, do I have to beg and scrape and plead to get on these things now? No, I don't.
Hmm.
I'm also not like I'm not VNV. I'm not a Sandwich 23. I'm not all these bands that are the ones that are getting begged to headline these things. But
Hmm.
the fact that I get to do it is pretty neat. But I know everybody. You do it long enough, you know everybody. You know
Hmm.
everybody too.
Well, that's where Space Couch comes from. But
That's where Space Couch comes. This is the only reason you know anybody. But no, I mean you get to drop. Yeah, you get to call up your friends and be like, hey, let's talk for an hour.
right.
And this is fantastic. Thank you very much for having me. By the
Oh,
way,
not a problem, man.
but this it's very much understanding what you want.
Hmm.
If it doesn't make me excited, I don't do it for the most part. For anything for what I do, I have to hope that I'm not blowing it. There's things I've released where I'm just like, maybe should I
Mm.
let that just in a little longer. But at the same time, I let it go. I try to be understanding when I'm done with things, and I know that if I have an idea that I've never seen before or heard before, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Just means I haven't heard it. That I'll go through with it. And I think that's super fun though.
Mm.
And I hope that translates to people being excited about what I do because they're not always going to know what to do with it.
I'm loving this idea of knowing what you want. Like for me, the worst I've ever felt about something I've made is knowing I hate it, but this idea that maybe somebody
Yeah,
out there will like it and it never works that way. Like if because for me, like don't let me put words in your mouth, but like if I'm happy about something, that's gonna push through that track as opposed to I know this sucks, but maybe I'll trick you into liking it.
Works. That never ever works. Even the songs that I hate that I've done because I just thought the execution was terrible. So the song I will never listen to again that I did, at least I have it in a long time, was the track I did for Death Key on the song is the Key of Death album, which is me just talking sexy over this whatever beat that I made when I was hammered on sake. And I wrote it in like a night. It's very funny. What I remember of it was very funny. We did it live a couple times. We did it in San Francisco, but
I forgot about that.
Not well done. But the idea behind it was funny. So at least I can go, okay. The song itself, I don't want to ever hear because I think it was terrible because I did that. It was like I did a Mandroid remix where I took a whole bunch of I robo-tripped and decided let's see what happens when you do. This was before I got sober, obviously, and this is I was like 34, going let's try this. This sounds like a great idea. Anyway, it wasn't, and it sounded awful, but. A lot of things were, just some are good bad ideas and some are just bad ideas.
Yeah.
And I wish I could kind of go back and fix some of those things, just make the songs better. But at the same time, I got more to go.
It's I think it's still pretty great for that time in not only our lives, but if I can say it, where industrial music was. That was a great album that came out on a label you and I did. Called Sonic Mainline. Yeah. And now space and time are kind of curving back in on themselves. We each run a label now and just came out with a amazing battle comp called Industrial versus Tiger Squawk.
Yeah, go to Tiger Squawk and download it. It's free. It's got a lot of really
check that out. That felt really good. That felt like I'm going to pick up Death Key at the distributor in Milwaukee. Like Sonic Mainline is kind of back. We are coming up on the hour. I don't know what your timeline's like, but I want to be semi-professional. What's that?
I can do a little bit longer.
All right. Well, I want to be, since I brought it up, I'm not going to be that guy that like brings up a story and then like, but you would be interested. I won't tell you. But like, so Hustle and Mate is out now. Clack out now. Daddy Bear out now. Look for Caustic in just a little bit at Mechanismus Festival. And is there anything you want to let the people know that might be in the clip or something that I missed?
We're something in a couple weeks for Clack that's going to be really big a show. I can't announce it yet because I am not allowed to.
That's so great.
But that's going to be fantastic. That's another festival we're playing. We're a place that we've never played before. We've only done 2 shows, so I guess it's most places. But no, otherwise, just go to caustic.bandcamp.com, clack.bandcamp.com, the Causticals, bandcamp.com, Beauty Queen Autopsy.bandcamp.com.
I keep forgetting Beauty Queen.
Pretty much free or pay what you want everywhere. So if you don't know what I do, and I assume most people do, and I do know what I do, why would you be here otherwise? Other than Space Couch is fantastic.
Stop.
But
now that we have audio
pay what
issues.
you want, so there's tons of great music
you have
there.
Tons of stuff for pay what you want. I have to say that too.
I do. I think I'd rather have it in people's ears than make $5 that might not get sold. I don't know. Maybe it's just a low self-esteem thing where I'm just like, nobody wants to pay for it anyway. But I think it's better just to offer it to people as they want and grow my audience that way. And it's been working out fine.
James Avery says you guys must be ultra proud of being 2 of the most important second generations industrial music to a fuck ton of people. Thank you, James.
Like to say I never dated myself. One fortnight.
I'm getting that tattooed on my chest, reverse style, like memento, so I can read it.
Yeah, I often say how important I am to myself. I'm hating myself for a million reasons. But,
there's that too. That seeps in there. We had a conversation once. What's that?
Well, I don't myself very much and I'm really insecure, so I do things that so hopefully other people will like me and give me positive feedback.
Dude, I'm right there. Like you had a song once about we were on, maybe this was on the Prometheus Burning tour, but you had played me like a demo of Cock Block and Beats and were convinced that was going to be the hit, and I forget which one, like I don't know if Handjob was on that album or whatever it was, but like something else on that album ended up being the big thing. And I was like, oh my God, that's my second album means it's too late to change your band name. Because I spent a year on that song, and it's the worst. It's my death key. Like I can't, like every time I hear it, like I die a little bit.
Well, I can't remember that. I mean, I know the song, but I haven't listened to it.
It's real bad. And then I love the flip side of the point you brought up, where it's like, dude, I did like Otter Time in like a week. That's the
My favorite song of yours.
it's the best. It's the most. It's finally something other than Konami Code. People.
Yeah, dude, I get so when you do that live, I have so much fun.
Oh,
Like,
thank you,
dude, that is such a and it's such a random song. I mean, not like you're not known for doing just like what is Brian singing about, but it's so specific, but it's such a good hook, dude.
I didn't.
It's
Well,
such a
thank you,
fun
and
song.
I didn't mean to bring it back to myself. It just resonated with me that
No, dude,
like a lot of people in the room and listening to this later on the podcast, like, I think it's fair to say that like it, don't let it get you down, and it'll come, man. Like breakthroughs will come.
Yeah,
Uh,
and just don't just hope for the best, but expect the worst. I mean, how many times I put out so many things. I'm like, yeah, this is the banger right here. No, it's the one over here. Okay, glad I wrote that too. But I mean, that was just it. Like we put out the last Clack EP a couple like February, January, February, whatever, a couple months ago, and we're like, this is the song. Then all of a sudden, there's this other song, but it's like, that's awesome. Like, I'm glad that people gravitated to one of the songs, let alone, and
That's a good
so
point.
it's nice that people care at all. I mean, that's not to sound like so like, it's nice anybody cares at all, but it is. I'm very fortunate that people like what I do, that I can keep doing it. I mean, I honestly, if nobody was here, I could still keep doing it, but it's nice that people encourage it. But it's fun. It's cool to get an audience. It's cool to get respect from your peers and from an audience and yourself, everybody. But we're old friends, so it's like,
Well,
it's weird to see. Yeah, if you think back on where we started from and what a mess they were, which was awesome. I'm glad I have that.
Union South.
Because people just don't get it.
Yeah.
Because you play a festival and you go to the green room now, and before like a decade ago, it was just like I mean, I had somebody pull a knife on me as a joke at a festival because they were just so drunk.
Yeah. Well.
Like craziness.
What's up
like,
to Sayavia?
Especially the Kinetic Fest, where just
Dude.
like bottled up with everything, and to be that we're saying and could be dead, and I'm glad.
Yeah. That's all. Those are very possible.
We're doing the best music I think we've ever done. So
I think so too.
Good for us, because we could suck. Like a lot of people do.
I want to. We can wrap it up in two things. James Avery wants to know what your biggest influence is.
Biggest?
Or for purposes of the show, give us, one of the top 10.
I would say, I mean, the whole attitude behind what I do. I mean, if I lay it out, I mean, and this is going to compliment somebody who's become a good friend, like the Dead Milkmen. Like the Dead Milkmen,
totally.
They were funny about. I mean, you do Dead Milkmen. Even just that genre. We'll just say that genre punk. Even like Dead Kennedys, where it's like you're talking about something, but at the same time, you're just kind of at the same time. And I know the Dead Milkmen. I mean, and I think about it more and more now that I do what I do. I mean, my lyrics aren't. I mean, it's not like I'm ripping anybody off, but there's definitely that world where I came from, where that's what I listened to, and I enjoyed that attitude, and that I don't. This is ours. Where I'm in this genre, but I don't care what anybody else is doing. I'm just going to do what I think is funny and what I think is entertaining and what is coming out of me. And I mean, the part of that is you can't do anything. I don't know how to do anything different. So it's not like I don't wake up every morning and go, how do I be different?
Right.
It's more like, this is where I just trusting your instincts.
Totally.
So yeah, I'll say the Dead Milkman. I mean,
that's a good call.
Then get into the ministries and all the other stuff like that, side projects. But I mean, the Revcos. But yeah, I'll say that. I mean, because that's good. One of the bands I was listening to like when I was 16 years old. Of course, it plays in Caustic now and again, and we got to play with them last summer.
That's fucking crazy. Like I remember my friend John Paul put on that Dead Kennedys tape when we were driving up. We were doing a road trip to UW Stout to visit our friend Dave, and I had heard of him, but I wasn't like cool enough to own a tape. and like hearing the whole album, like my nose almost started bleeding. Like it was so like,
Yeah.
these are my people. Like,
The Up the Bubba was like, yeah, I know when I was 16, and I listened to it. I remember walking to school in the snow listening to Stewart, and and it still being one of the funniest things I ever heard. And then like cut to like 20 years later, and I'm like, or 30, almost 30 years later, geez Louise. And it's like these are like guys I know now.
right, yeah, and then so
That's my favorite thing about this is just the stuff that I wouldn't be able to believe if I was 16 years old. I'm like, yeah, I hang out with this band,
yeah,
just sit with this band. And my 16-year-old self would be like, you want to make music? You can't do anything. You just draw a lot. You draw Wolverine too much.
And then the Dead Milkmen do the intro on our Causticals remix CD. Like that's insane. And
it's just so that's one of my favorite things about this. It's not, I mean, you put stuff out there and it's cool that people like it, but just the little perks like that are pretty cool. It's really cool.
I do, it's amazing. We're gonna wrap it up in just a second. Do you have not necessary, but if you have any wacky tour anecdotes you want to go out on?
Wacky tour. I tried to explain it like so. I've been sober for going almost a decade.
Big ups, man.
Early next year. Thank you. But I try to explain to people what I was like, and one of the things that I love the most explaining is Ceiling Bear. And
oh my God, the Caustic.
This was the worst. I think this started on that tour.
Because I deemed it as the Caustic.
Yeah, the Caustic. That's right. And what I used to do, because I didn't care at all, and I think we did it at the Underground. I feel like I did it at the Underground Lounge, which was the first one. That's the one where we went to the back. Somebody taking a crap in the sink. That was our first date, a 13-day tour. I think it was 13 dates and 15 days, all through the Midwest and the East Coast. And what I used to do is I just chug as much like beer in my mouth. I could spit it up as high as I could if there was a low ceiling. It would all just get caught on the ceiling, just drip down back into my mouth, and that was so gross to people. And I thought it was the funniest thing. I mean, I don't, and I'm surprised I didn't get like ceiling hepatitis or something from that. But it was so fun.
That's
about so much, and I did it so often.
That's the next remix I do is ceiling hepatitis. Big ups to Brant Showers, who's in the room. Wisconsin in the house. Well, we typically do an hour or a little bit past that. Listening to the Dead Kennedys and drawing Wolverine too much pretty much describes my 16-year-old self as well. Says Damon Amon, however you pronounce those triangles. I want ceiling hepatitis. This has been a wonderful episode. Thank you for your time. Dude, if you want to come back for Clack or Daddy Bear or Causticals or any of that, please do. All right. So you got to do like swimming, I think, with some kids, and I don't know, Brian stuff. But this has been awesome, and I'm gonna kick it over to the outro credits now.
Okay.
And so, Space Couch out. Thanks everybody for watching. I got to pee next to Jello Biafra at that WT2 thing in Chicago.
Oh,
that was amazing because it was like
I never got to pee next to Jello Biafra. I've never met Jello Biafra.
I mean, I never met him either. Well, I mean, I feel like we're related now, but you know.
Did you try and pee between his legs?
No.
I used to try.
That's that.
It's my roommate Mark, who's in the Super Ego podcast. He used to try and pee between his legs to freak him out.
Well, I've only saved that for you. So,
thank you.
I know I don't get into Caustic for free.